I never expected my life to change with one phone call. A ranch, 2,700 acres, left in my name. I hadn't even heard of it before that day, but everything changed the moment I arrived. It felt unreal, like I had stepped into someone else's story, and I had no idea what was waiting for me there. The lawyer said it was fully mine, land, buildings, everything on it. No debts, no disputes. At least that's what I thought, because sometimes the biggest problems aren't written on paper. They're already happening, quietly, without you knowing. The place felt too quiet, like it had been waiting for someone, or maybe watching. That's when I noticed something strange, something that didn't belong to me, but was sitting on my land, and it immediately felt wrong. Power lines, running straight through my land, huge ones, industrial level. This wasn't some small setup. Someone was using my property, not just passing through, but relying on it, and that changed everything. And they weren't just there, they were working like they owned the place. No permission, no notice. That didn't sit right with me, because I knew one thing for sure. This land had just become mine. That's when she showed up, confident, loud, like she was in charge. She didn't even ask who I was. She just started yelling, like I was the one out of place, like I didn't belong on my own land. "You can't be here," she snapped. "This land is under HOA control." I almost laughed. She had no idea, no clue who she was talking to, and that made it even more interesting. I showed her the papers. Her face changed instantly. Confusion, then disbelief, then something else. Fear, because the truth hit fast, and there was no way around it. That's when it hit me. Those power lines, they weren't just on my land, they depended on it. Every tower, every cable, all of it needed access I controlled. And if the land was mine, then so was access, so was permission, and they didn't have it anymore. Not legally, not officially, and definitely not from me. I made one call, not to argue, not to threaten, just to confirm what I already knew, and the answer changed everything. Because sometimes, you already know the truth, you just need to hear it out loud. There was no active agreement, no lease, no legal access. They had been using this land, without permission the whole time, and suddenly, everything made sense. They weren't in control anymore. She started to lose that confidence, the tone, the attitude. Gone. Now she was calculating, trying to figure a way out, because the situation had flipped, and she knew it. I kept it simple. Pack it up. No drama, no shouting, just facts. Because power doesn't need volume, it just needs clarity. For the first time, everything went silent. No engines, no noise, just tension in the air, like everyone was waiting to see what would happen next. Then came the switch. Her voice softened. "We can work something out," she said. Now she wanted to talk. Now she wanted options. But things don't work like that. But I wasn't interested in quick deals. They had time to do it right before. They chose not to. Now, it was on my terms. Because respect isn't optional. It's earned. Those towers weren't small. They powered entire neighborhoods. And every single one of them ran through my land. Which meant one thing. They needed me more than I needed them. I started doing the math. Access rights, land value, leverage. This wasn't just property anymore. This was control. And control changes everything, especially when others lose it. She was making calls now, a lot of them. And judging by her face, things weren't going her way. Because this wasn't a small mistake. This was a serious problem. More people showed up. Suits, serious faces. This wasn't just HOA anymore. This had gotten bigger, way bigger than they expected. And now, it was official. They tried to explain it away. Old agreements, technical oversight. But I had already checked. There was nothing, no loopholes, no excuses. Just the truth. They offered a handshake. I didn't take it. This wasn't about fixing a mistake. This was about accountability, and I wasn't going to rush it. "You're using my land. No agreement, no permission. That stops now. Clear, direct, no room for confusion." You could see it in their faces. This wasn't part of their plan. They expected resistance, not control, and definitely not this kind of leverage for the first time. I understood what I had, not just land. Leverage, and leverage changes outcomes. She wasn't yelling anymore. Now she was quiet, thinking. That's when you know things changed, because silence means reality has set in. Those lines carried power, but now they also carried risk. Their risk, because everything depended on my decision. I gave them one option, a proper agreement, on my terms, or nothing. Simple choice, big consequences. And then I waited, because now the pressure was on them, and time wasn't on their side. The next morning, everything felt different. Quiet, but heavy, like something big was coming, and I was ready for it, and it did. More cars, more officials, but this time, different attitude. No arrogance, just seriousness. No yelling, no demands, just paperwork, real paperwork. The kind that should have existed before. They came prepared now. Terms, agreements, compensation, everything they should have done before, but didn't, because they thought they didn't have to. I took my time, read every line, every detail, because now it mattered, and I wasn't going to miss anything. She didn't say a word, no attitude, no control, just silence. Because the situation spoke for itself. When I signed, it wasn't just a deal, it was a correction of everything they ignored, everything they assumed. This time, the handshake meant something, because it wasn't forced, it was earned, and everyone knew it. Work resumed, but differently. Now there were rules, my rules, and they followed them. The land was still the same, but everything else changed, because ownership means control, and control means respect. For the first time, the land felt quiet again. No tension, no noise, just mine. The way it should have been. Things didn't stop, they just changed. Now everything ran properly, with respect, with structure. I didn't interfere, I didn't need to, because now they followed the rules, without question. She still showed up sometimes, but not like before. No shouting, no control, just watching, learning. Maybe that funny how things change. Same people, same land, but a completely different attitude. All it took was the truth from above. It all looked the same, but now I understood its value. Every inch of it, every detail mattered. I didn't plan for any of this, didn't expect it either. But sometimes, life hands you something bigger, something that tests you. Power isn't always loud. Sometimes, it's silent, steady, and controlled, and that's what makes it real. They thought it was just land, something they could use, something they could ignore. They were wrong, completely wrong, 'cause in the end, it wasn't about the land, it was about control. And now, it was mine. Like, subscribe, and tell me where are you watching from?